Hello and welcome back to A Few Bits of News. I'm TB Sliver and today we're going over a few bits of news from the gaming industry and adjacent areas. Except we aren't. Today's news actually was considered a minor thing, but as the news hit it has ballooned out into something quite interesting, so welcome to our first special. Let's dive in. Hinted since BlizzConline, I hate that name, that Dark Portal to Outlands on the servers within World of Warcraft Classic would open at some point this year, the date is actually only a few weeks away. Announced last Thursday, World of Warcraft The Burning Crusade Classic, that's a mouthful, from now on let's call it TBC Classic, launches June 1st with its pre-patch only a few days from this recording on May 18th. Launching alongside this pre-patch are a few optional services, a character boost up to level 58, excluding the new Draenei and Blood Elf races, equipped and ready to go, and a cloning service that allows players to have their character on both Classic and TBC Classic servers. Also, a deluxe package is on offer which has 2 toys, a mount for both Classic and Modern WoW, a month of game time, and the previously mentioned boost service bundled in. All this sounds pretty standard for a launch, right? Apparently not, as hype quickly turned to fury when both the prices and the dates sunk in. Having limited experience in MMORPGs and only experienced WoW for a short while, Kremlik has taken the time to explain why such an outcry. Starting at the easiest thing to explain, simply not enough notice was given. Having been announced only just under 3 months ago, many expected summer or winter for the content to drop, which would be considered a normal timeframe for an MMORPG release. When the date was given, it gave players just over a week's notice for the pre-patch, and only a few weeks before the release. Adding to the timing frustration, those hoping to have the new Draenei and Blood Elf races ready for the new content will not be able to because it's only 2 weeks away if played casually. The fastest time seen as 6 to 8 days playtime, which is just over a week if played hardcore and fully optimised, meaning 8 to 12 hour gaming sessions. As mentioned above, those races are excluded from the level boost payment. Those wanting to use Paladin or Shaman in their faction, as back in Classic Base and Vanilla both classes were faction exclusive until TBC, will have to miss out walking through the portal with their friends at launch. Not only that, but many realise this is actually a midnight launch for the EU player base, and either way you look at it, it's still a Tuesday-Wednesday release globally, so of course people can't book off the time to enjoy its launch. The next bit gets a little complicated, as the pre-launch players on login have the option to continue on with their character into TBC Classic, or stay within the base Classic content. Once chosen, it's permanent. Now if you remember the optional cloning service bypasses the need to choose, here's the kicker. It's $35 per character. About a month or two ago, questionnaires were sent out to players with a question about how much they would be willing to pay for such a service, ranging from $10 to $30. Many outright laughed at the $30 price point, stating that was probably the extreme end of the pricing, expecting $10 to $15. The price has certainly infuriated the community, not more so than the raiding communities, in which they are still progressing with the Naxxramas raid. Not only that, but after TBC Classic's release, the raid will be harder to do, as intended, at level 60. But with the release, the skill changes to all the classes will change the way the encounters will be run. Krem continues to note that Naxx is a 40-man raid in its original version, so any guild wishing to continue this raid will have to collectively decide to either abandon or commit to staying on the base Classic servers. This also impacts the casual end of the player base too, as mentioned, as the time frame is so short to be prepared and getting organised to choose, panic buy sales of the unlock may actually happen, as you can't even play Classic in a few days without actually doing so. At the price point, and the amount of players having to choose the optional cloning service to do both, Blizzard will certainly cash in. There was already criticism within Classic before last week. Many have spoken up over the breaking of the spirit of the Classic servers by introducing paid character boosts and these extras. Around base Classic's launch, the PR line was to keep Classic servers as close to the original as possible. Up until TBC Classic's announcement, only minor quality of life and one new system was introduced to the game. There are also fears with the deluxe mounts after being data mined and having full mount speed on purchase, skipping the training costs and requirement in a pay-to-win effort, considering the package itself is $69.99. It took Blizzard 24 hours to release a small post debunking this, stating those mounts will be at the character's current riding speed level, as with all normal mounts. The other part of the deluxe pack also sparked discussion and concern, as people realised the toys on offer are actually from the long-defunct World of Warcraft trading card game. These were rare cards with codes you could actually redeem for use within the original WoW. An astute Icy Veins member stated they found one of the toys cards for the trading card game for $10 on eBay, and the Hearthstone toy card for $1,000. The concern from players lies within the fact Blizzard can use the fact that the toys were actually in the original version, and in a way a microtransaction, so putting them up for sale wouldn't break the spirit on the Classic servers. Thoughts then turned to the fabled Spectral Tiger, in which not only is it considered one of the rarest, if not the rarest mount in WoW, but to buy it would set you back, well, $9,000. By putting it as a general MTX, this would not only devalue the card, but also the legacy of the mount itself. Because of all this, many have cynically stated both the time of release and price point of the optional extras are simply to boost numbers for the next quarter, as if you remember from last week's news with the MAUs being at their lowest point in 3 years, and also previously within modern WoW the player base is still waiting on a very late update and are unimpressed with the content so far. Considering the character data is just a snapshot in the database with a true-false toggle, it's kind of understandable. Although Krem points out another reason, as both Elder Scrolls Online and Ashes of Creation has content dropping, with the former's Blackwood expansion and the latter's first alpha test being the same day, June the 1st, as TBC Classic's launch. Thankfully, the team behind Ashes of Creation was smart enough to take note of the situation and pushed it back a month, with Ashes of Creation creative director Steven Shariff stating, "We estimate roughly 25% of our current testing pool are active players across these titles combined." Seeing as Blizzard are known for trying to snipe hype away from other launches for the rare occasion that it works, this wouldn't be too far from the truth, as it's also a busy weekend for certain other MMORPGs. Something that happened at the end of the last month we didn't have a chance to cover was that the Crash Spyro remake and the Crash 4 dev team, Toys for Bob, had been moved from their active projects, presuming to be Crash 5 and another unnamed Crash title, to work as a sub-team for Call of Duty Warzone. The reasoning behind this was cited to be poor sales of Crash 4, performing under Activision's expectations. The reason why we bring it up now is because there have been unconfirmed reports that following Jeff Kaplan's departure, the team has also been put on helping to deliver Overwatch 2. If you have kept up with Blizzard over this past year, if true, and if Vicarious Visions, currently working on the Diablo 2 remake, is in support for Diablo 4 also, this would mean that both World of Warcraft and WoW Classic may be the only projects Blizzard actually have full project control over. Whereas all of this is still speculation, it is still true that WoW is Blizzard's only active project, other than Hearthstone, which is still a Warcraft project. More so considering StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, Diablo 3 and even the original Overwatch, now 5 years old itself, have now ended major content rollouts, with Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 a year away at minimum. So with this in mind, it's funny how much effort Activision Blizzard have taken to monetize the classic products, considering it's not something we actually wanted. Starting only a few hours in the early morning from the posting of this video, Final Fantasy XIV begins its yearly fan event. Due to the pandemic, Square Enix officially cancelled all 3 live fanfests in Japan, US and EU last year, and this year it's being brought online where the communities will be more involved than ever with in-game events and fan contributions in digital activities. Most eyes will be focused on the opening keynote as we get more details on the next expansion Endwalker, hopefully revealing the second of the 2 classes introduced within it and that sweet trailer hype. This is the second of 3 Endwalker keynotes, in which the first in February announced the title, the first class Sage, which is the game's 4th healer class, and a fall release window. The major bits of information is that Endwalker itself will end the long-standing 10-year arc since the original 1.0 release, opening up a brand new story in the following updates going forward. After the 2-day event is over, the party just continues going as the Moogle Treasure Festival continues from the launch of Fanfest till June 14th. This activity rewards players in doing duty activities, dungeons, raids and PvP, with tokens to offer to the Moogles for items. While the event offers another way of gaining items than the original source, each offers a unique item. The item for this event has players scream, for it is the Great Serpent of Ringa. Praise be to the Great Serpent. Phantasy Star Online 2 continues in New Genesis testing this weekend. New Genesis is not just the pseudo-sequel to PSO2, but a massive graphical and combat update to the game. The unique thing is that characters can freely switch between playing PSO2 and New Genesis, allowing players to be in both communities and games with their friends no matter what they are doing. A participation reward is on offer, however what it will be is currently unknown. Registration to the beta can be done via the Xbox Insider app. The Mass Effect Trilogy returns yet again, this time with an all-in-one package that comes with overhauled textures and engine for 4K and widescreen support, with more performance options for PC. One of the major features of this package is to make the experience more consistent across the series. This means Mass Effect 1 has been adjusted from the ground up to be more akin to its follow-on games, with UI changes, improved AI control, changes to combat numbers and roles, and the Mako sections have now finally been fixed. For those that like to create their own stories, the creator has been expanded and the iconic femshep design from Mass Effect 3 has been made the default female option across all 3 games. Other changes include an improved Paragon Renegade system in ME2. Also, EA takes direct note to say the final mission in ME3 and ME2 is recommended to do a full trilogy completion for consistent successes, as they have tuned up its difficulty. Mass Effect Legendary Edition releases today across Xbox, PlayStation and PC. The follow-up to the very popular Subnautica, Below Zero, releases from Early Access to 1.0 today. Below Zero has been in early access since late 2019, however due to staff changes and negative player feedback over story content progression, the game got pushed back further to rewrite the game to flow more in line with its original, which changed back in last October. Below Zero adds new tools to use, new biomes, the new modular sea truck, and its new focuses on land-based survival on the freezing ice floes. Encounter new creatures and new people in this serene yet terrifying world. Subnautica Below Zero releases across all platforms today, with the original Subnautica releasing on Switch at the same time. And that's it for this week's A Few Bits of News. Tune in next week for more news across the gaming industry, and as always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, as well as hit that bell to get notified of the next video. If you'd like to chat to us live, then come join me every Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday evening over on Twitch, link in the description. Otherwise, we'll see you below in the comments.